See, right now it says we're live on YouTube, but on my computer it says we're setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. So
Oh, Jesus
I know
Christ.
there's no way to know, Greg. I think we are live though. I think it's really happening.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
So let me
God
just
damn it.
quickly get this situation sorted. Okay. And then, oh, did you retweet my tweet? We're
When?
live. They're seeing can you retweet the one saying that we're live at 5:30 so people will know to come and arrive.
Tweeter.
It's one of my most recent ones, or it's Childish's most recent one too.
There it is. Okay, done. I wrote get it on and then I posted it.
You did not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's play our song. Song time.
Wait for that CBD to kick in, baby. Woo!
Greg, are you recording? Because I realized we didn't have the conversation where we make sure we're both recording and we didn't even clap
No,
to go.
we didn't
You're
do
not.
any of
Okay.
it.
All right. Let's for the people watching live, when you watch us record live, you see all the bloopers, the guffaws, the fuck ups, all those things that you're seeing right now. So I say we start over.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's
We have to play the whole song over?
I don't think we have to. I think we can
good.
just
Tell
clap
me
it.
when to hit record.
Hit record now.
Okay, I did it. We're recording. We're going to clap in. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
It's weird. It felt really off to me. Let me try clapping
again.
now. Okay. I mean, let me try counting. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Very
okay.
close.
All right. So I'll just point at you and then pretend. Okay. So we just heard the song. Wow.
God, I love that song. Stairway to Heaven and Childish. Those are my jams.
I want that song played at my funeral.
When are you going to die, by the way? Have you thought about that? Like, what's your ideal age to die?
Ooh, I want to just brush up against 100.
No,
I want to be in my healthy early to mid 90s. I'm going to say that.
God.
You want to check? Well, you probably want to check out in your 70s, right?
Not 70s, but I think like 81 feels about right. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We were just talking before the podcast about laying in bed and having the option of either going out and doing all the things that make you happy or staying in the fetal position. And we both defaulted to fetal.
Yeah. I know. Because I was so comfortable in bed and I'm like, but my children and everything I love is out there. And I just would rather stay right here. So I know. I
can't imagine living double. I mean, I'm 54, but you're only like, how old are you? Like 40?
40. Oh, thank you. I am 45.
All right. So imagine living the amount you've lived all over again. Are you high? It's too much.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, it's a little bit unnerving to think I'm already halfway over the hump, and it's just going to be diminishing years from now on.
I mean, some people live right to the end. I mean, you see somebody like, Mel Brooks is still going. He's still enjoying himself, being funny. He likes to be vital. I'm 54, and I'm ready to wrap it up.
I think it. Are you going to make me a podcast widow? Because what would I do?
You got me till I'm 81.
So many episodes. It's a manageable amount of episodes.
We'll keep scaling it down until it's once a month, then it's once a year.
It's our annual episode. Greg, and we are not yet at the news portion of our show. However, there was a news story about the lifelong, what's the longevity, however, mortality, however long people live in North America has been reduced by a year this year.
Saw that.
It's more, at least a year. And
But
then
the year that you're losing is however old you are in 2020.
that is
Not
true.
The one at the end. Yeah.
I think it's like they said 1.5 years came off of men's life. I think for white women, it's like 0.9 years. And then for Black Americans, it affected them more.
The only time Black people get more. Figures.
So way to go, America. But then what I was reading, and by the way, in addition to not being able to handle life outside of my bed, I also am having trouble reading more than the headline or a synopsis. But what I inferred from it is it's not just COVID that's reducing the lifespan. There's like other things going on too.
Not only that, Allison Rosen, but the birth rate is way down.
Yes.
And then I read an article that said that sperm are down, you ready for this, since the 70s, down 60%.
Wait, what does that mean? The amount of sperm in ejaculate?
Yes.
Wow.
And the sperm that are in there are not as focused and as driven as the old sperm. They're like swimming in circles. They're going slower. They're not, there's no Michael Phelps in there. There's a lot of like your uncle at the community center down in Florida swimming. There's more
right. Like a lot of back hair. You know, if you asked me, like, are 70s sperm determined? I would think not really. I'm just picturing like a lot of Mitch Hedbergs. He was after the 70s, but he feels 70s to me.
Yeah, I guess so. But, you know, I think that who knows what cell phones are doing? You got it in your pocket all the time.
That's true.
Trying some stuff down there. I mean, first of all, how far are you from understanding signals that get to your cell phone and how that physically works, that you can go anywhere in the world and have a conversation with somebody else who's anywhere in the world? I mean, I know you can give me a headline on it, but do you truly understand it? And do you truly understand what the ramifications of that might be on the health of, it's either next to your balls or it's pressed up next to your brain?
I don't understand how the radio works. I don't understand how phone calls work. So no, I don't understand how a cell phone works. But do you remember when cell phones came out and all of a sudden everyone was using or a lot of people were using earpieces because they were afraid of brain cancer?
Sure.
And now people are sometimes on and off afraid of microwaves. You don't hear a lot of concern about cell phones. But what's weird is I remember in all the baby classes I took, everything at the hospital, there was no one who was like, when you're holding your baby, don't hold your cell phone near them. And I was always holding my cell phone above my child. I mean, you want to be worried. You want to be careful not to drop your cell phone on them. But all this concern of cell phones, and here's this tiny vulnerable thing. I would think it can't be good to have your phone resting on your baby. And yet no one warned you not to.
No, and a lot of times you're breastfeeding while you've got the phone cradled under your chin.
Sometimes you're breastfeeding your phone while you have your baby under your chin.
Allison, that's silly. By the way,
I'm a silly lady.
I hope I'm not grossing out the listeners, but I had something frozen off my lip about 5 days ago. And it's scabbing as it's supposed to. But it looks like, can you see it?
Well, I couldn't, but now I can. What was it?
I don't know, but it's going to be cancer if I don't do it. Apparently, I got to go in and do it like every 3 months for the rest of my life.
Wait, are you serious?
Well, she said, come back in 3 months. And I go, and then when after that? She goes, you're going to have to just keep coming in.
So it was like hang on one second. Pete, take this out. listeners, enjoy this behind the scene thing. I need to make sure that the sound situation is sorted. So hang on one second. Okay. Talk a little bit, Greg.
Hey now. It's me,
Talk
Greg
a little more.
Simmons.
Okay, that sounds good.
Blister.
So it sounds like it was precancer or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they call it precancer, but isn't everything precancer until you get cancer?
If you think about it, yes. What did it look like before?
It was just this repeatedly chapped spot on my lip where I was constantly picking it, and then it would chap again, and then I would pick it, and it would get sore, and then I was just obsessed with. Can I tell you how hard it is to not pull this scab off?
Oh my God!
I want to.
If we're going to gross out the listeners, let's go all the way. I had this crazy habit / obsession / passion with like picking at any, like creating and then picking at like scabs on the back of my head when I was in 7th or 8th grade. And I can remember just sitting in class feeling what I was going to pick later. And like, I just could barely contain my excitement. And I like couldn't stand having to wait many hours till I could be alone with the with my scabby scalp. That is so disgusting. But all I'm saying is I was
all those lucky kids sitting behind you in class
watching me just pull a scab through the hair.
Right.
I couldn't not do it. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you can't. You're not supposed to. You've been advised not to.
Been advised not. JoJo had a picking issue also. We actually had to send her to a doctor to talk about it. She was like picking. She would pick scabs on her legs, and it got really bad. And then she went to a shrink, and they straightened it out. She doesn't do it anymore.
I wonder how, because I think about a lot of things.
Well, it's OCD. It's like picking is an OCD thing. It's actually very common with teenagers. And they gave her this band to put on her wrist, and when she felt the compulsion to do it, she would just pull on the band. So they had a couple different behavioral adjustments like that, and it worked like a charm.
I remember my dad saying that they should get me worry beads, and they might have even gotten them. And I was like, smooth glass beads is not the same as my own flesh. Like, you don't understand the festival for the senses that is picking at. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details, but like, it's just, you can make up, there's so much going on there. But yeah, I can remember my parents going, don't pick, Allie. Don't pick, Allie. Like, that's like, it's been seared into my mind. I think
that it doesn't help, does it, when they say it?
No. In the same way that it doesn't help. So Daniel bites his nails, and I'm constantly going, nails. Like he has this impression of me. And it doesn't help, but it makes me feel better.
When you think about parenting, as I'm at a different stage of it than you are, I look back on how successful we were in some areas, and then you're sort of summing up places that you wish you had been better. And I really think about like habits that my kids have had over the years, and the ones that we let go and the ones we tried to correct, and the feeling that, well, if we ride them on it, it's just going to exacerbate it. And it really is hard to kind of, excuse the pun, but pick your battles.
Right.
You know? And the best way to handle it, because it is easy to send your kids to a shrink and then just kind of go like, okay, done, they'll take care of it. But that's just not how it works. Like, it's on you.
But see, upon hearing that you sent her to a shrink for the picking, I was like, oh, I admire, I think that's good. I wish my parents had done that, because I remember, and this is all like it's fairly normal, I think, but around 2nd grade, the teacher talked to my parents because I was blinking really hard. It was just like a tic. It was anxiety. And they got my eyes checked out, and my eyes were fine. But the funny thing is that in talking about it, then I become self-conscious, and I feel like I become ticky again. But there were things here and there that probably would have been reasons for me to see a child psychiatrist, psychotherapist, whatever. But they never sent me, I think, because they were worried. I don't know if it's that they were worried that it would suggest that they're doing something wrong. That would be sort of a dark way of reading it. Or maybe they just didn't want me to feel like there was anything wrong with me.
Yeah, I mean, that's an issue too.
Yeah.
And I guess when I say that you can't just turn it over to a shrink, like they can be very supportive and they can give you ideas, but the execution still rests with you. It's
Right.
like, you can't expect 1 hour a week to completely change a child. You have to find a way to work with, and I've always found the therapists that have worked are the ones that you meet with them for an hour, kid meets with them for an hour, and then once in a while, all of you meet together. So you're all on the same page and you're all parenting and counseling at the same time.
How does it work how much will the therapist tell you, the parent, about what your child has said?
We've had different experiences over the years. Both kids have tried some therapy, and there's been some that are wide open books that are like, tell us everything that they're doing, and other ones that that are professionals and respect the kid's privacy.
Which one did you like better?
Of course, the former.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, Merry Christmas.
Oh, yes.
What's with these fucking colors? Look at me with the green and the red. It looks ridiculous.
I thought this is how I live, Greg. I was just like, there must be some Jewish holiday that you're telling me Merry Christmas about.
And you're just gonna go with it?
I think Purim is happening. I just went with it. My whole life, I've just gone with it because people always assume I'm celebrating the holidays. Yeah. I've never really known what they are. I would like to know. I need to catch up. But anyway, yeah, you are very festive. Elliot would love what you have going on right now.
All right, good. Some cute pictures of the kids this week, by the way, on Instagram.
Thank you.
Nice one of was it Elliot that was sleeping?
Yes, yeah, he fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah,
he looked so angelic. Yeah. Can I share something? I know that we don't want to gross everyone out, but can I just share one more gross thing with you? Because this is a Childish exclusive. I have not talked about this on Allison Rosen as Your New Best Friend, and you'd think I would. I'll just make it very fast. I know. I've saved this hot scoop for you. I don't know if you saw the Instagram post of mine from a few weeks ago where there was a slug just hanging out on one of the drawers in my bathroom.
Didn't see it.
Yeah. And I asked, should I move? And by the way, it was kind of cute. Like, they're kind of fat and cute. It's not as gross as some things. I mean, for a creepy crawly thing to find in your bathroom, it's not the worst. It's
a snail is a slug with some dignity.
You're right.
Yeah.
This is a nudist snail. Yeah. But do you remember when I had maggots in my shower a year and a half ago or 2 years ago? And that was just a true nightmare. So this had shades of that, like all the questions, how to get in? Are there more? What's going on? I started going crazy. And Daniel and I decided, well, obviously Wendy, my dog, must have just tracked it in because there's slugs outside. So she must have just tracked it in. So then I'm sitting on the toilet, which gives me a bird's eye view of the slug zone. And I notice on the bottom near where the cabinet meets the wall, so now a different spot, I see a slug just hanging out. And I'm like, oh my God, there's another one. So now I'm truly horrified. And I realized I had never lowered myself onto the ground of the bathroom to see what's going on where the cabinet meets the wall. Yeah. But there's like a pretty significant gap.
Right.
So, and also there have been some gnats in our bathroom, like little fruit flies, which they're small and harmless, but what the fuck? That my reaction has been like, what are they feasting on? What's going on? Is there a piece of rotten fruit in here? What is happening? So anyway, I found the portal to the other dimension that is letting in the insects. And I don't know what I do about it, but I found it at least.
Is it the drain?
No, I think there's something that's not sealed where the cabinet meets the wall. Like, I don't know if it's a hole in the wall I think things are coming up from the crawl space.
Well, that sounds easy to fix. Can't you just get a little silicone and pop it in there?
That seems like it should work.
If you had a husband that could handle it.
I'm gonna have to get that Willie,
Oh, I had a
the
feeling you were gonna
porn
bring him back
contractor.
in. Yeah. Now, if you just play cheesy jazz, does he just show up? Is it like
Yeah.
he just saunters in?
If I think should I order a pizza?
Yeah.
There he is with his tribal tattoo.
Mm, 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 mm. Speaking of news, Allison.
Yes.
A lot of breaking news.
Oh, are we gonna even do some breaking news? Let's do some breaking news.
Yeah.
Hang on one second, because you know how it goes.
Top
Tell me.
story. Former member of Alpha K Lambda fraternity, dad, came up with a creative way to help his baby daughter gain weight. I guess he had an underweight daughter. She was in the first percentile.
Oh wow.
Which is good as an earner.
Yeah.
It's not good as a baby.
No, I hear what you're saying. Maybe you're right. I'm not going to get into a percent versus percentile conversation that they'd be punching above my weight. Go ahead, Greg.
Anyway, so he invented a beer bong for his daughter to give for formula. She's 8 months old.
Oh,
Lily.
Willie just showed up again.
What's that?
I said Willie just showed up again. He heard beer bong and he showed up.
Well, ironically, Lily is the name of the daughter.
Get out.
And the Seattle man, basically, he said that he put it on TikTok. It's a viral. It's gotten 10 million views on TikTok since it went up last week. And he pours the milk into a funnel, and the daughter is down, and she's guzzling it, and it works.
Does he yell chug, 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 or anything like that?
He doesn't, but his 12 buddies do. Especially Bluto. This one guy, Bluto.
Right.
Moondog is he's playing some Beastie Boys, the first album. You got Fight. Fall You All Right. To nerd. And then sometimes it spills and her t-shirt gets wet, and then they threw a contest.
Have you seen how you know what it sounds like? It sounds like making foie gras out of his daughter. Do you know how they make foie gras? Like they put a funnel in the mouth and pour it down. That's what it sounds like. But I'm glad it's working for them. It's
working, and she wasn't eating her vegetables, so he put them in Jell-O, and she does Jell-O shots. So they're having a lot of fun over at that house.
That's the nursery house to be at. Have you ever done a beer bong? Or shotgun to beer?
Are you kidding me?
I mean, of course you have. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah,
wait.
I quit drinking when I was 24.
Okay.
And I started when I was 12, and I drank hard. I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I was a great drunk. Allison, you would have loved me. King of the party. I walked into a party like this, hands up, yelling, dancing on tables, beer bongs, a lot of sloppy sex. And then, but then I used to get DUIs and into fist fights. And so I decided, because my dad was an alcoholic, might be a good time to wrap it up.
Right. I knew that you had wrapped it up. I just thought you might have wrapped it up early enough that you hadn't done all the beer bongs and stuff like that. Because I was at a lot of parties with them, but I never did one. I was always scared of it. And I also love the movie Sure Thing. I think we've talked about it. I think that, I got to adjust my camera. Love that movie, but have never shotgunned a beer out of a can also.
I would like very much to get a beer funnel and have you do one on Childish, because it's on brand for us.
Is it?
No.
That's how much.
That might be our brand, actually, is that we don't get to very much parenting stuff.
That's how potentially on brand it is for us, that when you said it's on brand for us, I was like, I mean, maybe it is.
Yeah. Yeah. We have we get so much mail from people that do not have kids.
I
Sometimes
know.
we get mail from a lot of people in their 20s
Yeah.
that listen and don't have kids. So I don't know what the brand is. I don't know how this whole podcasting thing works.
Look, again, as everyone knows, we were cast.
We were
cast in this podcast. That's
Right.
not true.
I remember my 5th callback.
Yeah.
It was between me and Todd Barry, and somehow I pulled it out.
It was the chemistry test.
Yeah.
They wanted to see how we played off of each other. They pulled there was 12 of us in a room.
Yeah.
It was you, me, Todd Barry, Natasha Leggero, Mark Maron,
Ron Funches,
Baron Vaughn,
Danny Bonaducci. One of the Sklar's, I can't remember which one. Randy.
No glasses. No glasses.
No glasses.
Doug Benson was supposed to be there,
Yeah.
but he didn't show up. That's not, Doug Benson does show up. That's not fair.
He does show up.
And then, and Ben Shapiro, which was
Ben
confusing.
Shapiro, which, not too late. If our ratings start to slip, maybe you want to grab Ben and bring him in for sweeps week.
Right. And then we got it. And I was when I got the call, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about the project. I just knew that it had a lot of money behind it.
Right. I remember our launch party.
Oh, yeah.
At the Four Seasons. That was crazy.
That was. The gift bag alone was worth like $100,000.
It was $100,000.
It was just $100,000.
And that was one massage. Yeah. That's how good the massage was.
Oh, so worth it.
Yeah.
Not like that painful massage, no offense, at your 50th birthday party, which, oh my God.
Oh, right.
If you like a hard massage, you'd like that. But I like a soft massage. And that was.
Was that my 50th birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Allison came over and we hired. Actually, I didn't hire. My friend as a gift.
I know. Was it Gibbons?
With a massage chair. No, Matt Malloy. With a massage chair. He's an actor. You know him. You've seen him in everything.
I've heard
One of these guys that they actually made a movie about people that you know but you don't know. That he's a journeyman. He's been doing it for 30 years out here. Makes a good living. He's bald, so he's
likes a hard massage.
And he's a licensed masseuse. He struggled for many years in New York as an actor, and here's how much he struggled. He was a licensed cabbie. He was a licensed blackjack dealer in Atlantic City.
Wow.
He was a licensed masseuse. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can list that on his resume, his journeyman resume.
That's right.
So anyway, I got a massage and it was painful. Speaking of Ben Shapiro and breaking news, did you hear, because it's just lighting up right-wing Twitter.
Yeah.
Apparently. 6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published because they have racist images. And I don't know how well you know the Dr. Seuss oeuvre, but I had not heard of these. Maybe I heard of one, but here's the 6 that won't be published anymore. They are called And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElligot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. And it's Dr. Seuss. So at first, I kind of bought into the all right, maybe it's censorship, maybe people are overreacting, but it's Dr. Seuss Enterprises, the company.
His own company is censoring himself.
Exactly.
He's dead, but they're trying to. Well, first of all, sorry, go ahead.
Well, you know what? I'll share more of the news and then we'll offer our hot takes on it. But Dr. Seuss,
he's like the second highest earning author, even though he's dead.
Wow.
It was like $40 million came in last year from his books.
Yeah, I mean, we read them to the kids to indoctrinate them. So these books portray people in ways that are hurtful.
You kids want Green Eggs and Ham or Mein Kampf tonight?
Dr. Seuss Enterprises told the Associated Press that these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. So it's portrayals of Asian people and of African people. And in the book, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, an Asian person is portrayed wearing a conical hat, holding chopsticks, and eating from a bowl. And in
You mean like Asian people do?
And in If I Ran the Zoo, no, you know what though?
I mean, honestly, an Asian person's got chopsticks and that's offensive? What the fuck is that?
Yes, when I read that, I had a similar reaction. However, what this article leaves out, or I didn't highlight it, but I read in a different article, is their eyes are just slits. I think that Greg,
I'm just saying, it's not out of thin air. It's like, but
a caricature.
To me,
okay.
It's like, it's offensive when you attribute low character qualities to a race.
Right.
When you malign their abilities, their intelligence, that is offensive. By saying that Asian people's eyes are more narrow, how is that offensive? They're drawing a picture of an Asian person. The eyes are going to be narrower. They may have chopsticks. They may, in fact, eat from a bowl, Allison. Are you having flashbacks of being on the Adam Carolla show right now?
No, because you're not yelling. You're just reading your voice. If I Ran the Zoo, and also I don't feel frightened. If I Ran the Zoo includes drawings of two barefooted African men wearing what appear to be grass skirts with their hair tied above their heads.
You mean like African people in Africa?
I would need to see these drawings to see
everything
how much.
in Dr. Seuss is about the world. He writes about different places and different cultures and different kinds of people. Oh, God. It's insane.
So I take it you are very much on the side that this is insane. This is too much.
It's too much. Where does it end? Where does it end? It's like, is Winnie the Pooh, are they going to have to get rid of Tigger?
Because it sounds like a word?
That's right. I actually heard somebody say that.
Really?
I read that. Yeah, I read that somebody said, well, then they should do something about it's offense. It's triggering. It said in the article. Yeah.
So we have the Disney Plus app, and we have, profiles for Daniel, me, and then the boys. So it's like some kind of kids setting on the boys thing. And this Disney Plus, it's not like there's a lot of adult content on there.
Yeah.
And via their profile, we tried to watch Jungle Book and it wouldn't play because it has to be an adult who, like, through our profiles, we could play it because there's some images that are no longer culturally sensitive, blah, 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 blah.
Like what?
Well, I'm assuming the portrayal. Actually, I don't know. I don't know specifically in Jungle Book what they consider to be problematic, but you could see there being problematic stuff in a jungle.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because you just have to weigh in how many people are truly offended versus how many people enjoy the material and are not affected by it in some kind of like, I don't know. I guess I just come from a place where I think that stupid people are going to be made more stupid by things, and smart people are going to be able to see through it. I mean, how much are we going to protect stupid people in this country?
Well, this is children, and they are stupid. I guess here's the thing. I could see. I don't think these are his greatest selling books. It's not like they're coming for the Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham or Horton Hears a Who. I hear what you're saying. I think the idea is we don't want to teach children this is what you can expect of an Asian person. This is what an African person is like.
But it is. It literally is.
Definitely not all.
If you go to Asia, you're going to see Asian people wearing those hats, eating with chopsticks out of a bowl.
But does the book take place in Asia? I don't think so. I think it's on And to think I saw it on Mulberry Street.
I used to live on Mulberry Street, New York.
You did. That's Little Italy. Nice.
Guess what, though? And I'm not making this up.
Um,
Chinatown is below Little Italy. And in the time I lived there, Chinese people started filtering up Mulberry Street. My apartment building was half Italian and half Chinese.
Well, I think this was written in 1937. Is that about when you lived there?
Another news story that I think is related to this is Mr. Potato Head. The classic Hasbro toy brand, which includes the mustachioed Mr. Potato Head and clean-shaven Mrs. Potato Head.
Look at that.
Will soon be rebranded as the gender-neutral Potato Head toy line. In order to better reflect the full line, the brand stresses that neither the individual Mr. or Mrs. Potato Heads will be renamed. So I guess they're going to have an androgynous potato head.
You know, I'm a little confused by this because I saw pictures and the box. Wait, read that last sentence again that you just said.
The brand stresses, however, that neither of the individual Mr. or Mr. Potato Head toys will be renamed. So I think what they're doing is if you are, say, a very sensitive, woke, progressive person living in the East Village or Santa Monica, and your same-sex partner and you want to buy a gift for your child, you can go ahead and get a potato that's not all sexually charged.
But here's the thing. I think what they're saying is Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head are still going to be sold. It's just when you go to the store, you're not going to get a quote unquote Mr. Potato Head. You're going to get a potato head.
You know what? As an Irish person, I'm triggered. Why are they making people out of our food? There was a famine. There were not enough potatoes. Now we find out, here's where the potatoes went. Hasbro is grabbing them, putting them in boxes and selling them to rich kids. While we fucking starved, Allison Rosen.
Was that around the 1937 when you were living?
1937, as a matter of fact, yeah.
You know, I typically defend this stuff more than you, obviously, because I do feel like if you can avoid offending someone, go ahead and do that. And inclusive is better. That being said, lately, I do find some of the woke progressive insanity to be working my nerves. So
and this is not
what?
Working your nerves. Mr. Potato Head having to have a non-gender specific potato. That doesn't cross the line. I mean, it really is. Like, there's always going to be somebody who's going to write a letter and be offended. Do we have to concern ourselves with these people with too much time in their hands that have their own bag of shit they're not dealing with, so they're projecting it all around the rest of society?
The reason that Mr. Potato Head, or the Dr. Seuss thing, I feel like if on a different day, I feel like that would bother me because as a writer, as an English major, as someone who loves books, you know what though? It's not, I don't really feel like it's censorship. They're not saying we're not allowing these books different places and we're going to pull them all, or unless they are, in which case maybe I have a different feeling. They're just saying as a company, we're not going to publish this anymore because we don't feel like it's in step with the times. And the potato thing, it just feels like a very minor, small, like who cares kind of thing. I have more of a problem with, like, I saw this whole discussion, you know, there was a time where if you volunteered at one of the vaccine sites, you could get the vaccine.
Yeah, you can still do that.
Yes, you can. I just think it's very hard to get into the volunteer program because so many people want to get into it.
Really?
So I could be wrong though. Don't look into it yourself if you want to. So I saw this discussion on a social media site of people saying, do you think we as white people, if we should be trying to give the vaccine to people who can't afford, we should be giving our vaccines, donating our vaccines to people who can't afford to take the day off work and get vaccinated. And then there were people chiming in who weren't white, who were like, why are you assuming it's only white people who are volunteering? And the whole thing just was so like, oh my God, like, I get that you're trying to be an ally and you're trying to be a good person, but like this conversation is making me want to put my fist through my computer.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's also completely not feasible because you're not allowed to donate your vaccine. And hey, the faster everyone gets vaccinated, the better for everyone. I don't know. Maybe their heart's in the right place. They're trying to adjust for inequities, but it just was like, ugh, I don't know. For some reason, that just really irked me.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I did a good thing. There was a code flying around among my friends.
I heard. Go ahead.
Entitled white men on the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
And we all got on our phones and we all got appointments. And my wife said, she showed me an article from the LA Times that these codes were actually meant for Black Latino communities, and they're being improperly used in affluent LA areas. And so I didn't go. I canceled my appointment to open it up for somebody else. My friends all went. They got shots right away, and I didn't.
That's good, Greg.
So my wife said instead I have to go wait in line for a surplus shot somewhere.
Yes. I know people who've been very successful doing that. It just can take some time. Yeah. So the thing with the codes, that was something I read recently. There were these special codes that were generated for low income people to use to sort of get it, to be able to make an appointment to get a vaccine.
Right.
And somehow they spread among wealthy people who were then using them and taking all the appointments. But the people who were using them didn't realize that they were intended for low income people, right? I mean, until your wife told you?
Right. They were told that there was some kind of a pilot program going on where they were trying to just get it into arms as much as they could. And, but no, there is a proper way. And I have friends that have done it the proper way, that have waited online, gotten a cert. You might have to wait all day and you may get turned away a couple times, but that's the way. Now my wife and son both work in a doctor's office.
Oh, so they've probably already gotten it.
Yeah, they got both shots. And then my daughter has an appointment for next week because she works in a daycare.
Nice. So, did your wife have a reaction?
She did. She and my son both had a very hard reaction to the second shot. My wife was on the bathroom tiles for half the night trying to cool down. And they were both had bad headaches and nauseous. And yeah, it was pretty intense, but it only lasted about 18 hours. So
that must make your family feel better about you doing some live shows, right?
Well, that's the thing, is I sort of am a frontline person. If I'm going to go do dates starting April 1st, I should be vaccinated.
Yeah. You're kind of a healthcare worker spreading your chuckles.
That they say laughter is the best medicine, Allison.
You know what's like...
What? Tell me. Oh, I stepped on your unbelievable transition.
Speaking of medicine, this episode of Childish is brought to you by Lemonade Health. The new year is a great time to check in on your general health and well-being, especially in the middle of a pandemic. Lemonade Health is a virtual medical office providing you affordable health care without the need to use insurance and from the comfort and convenience of your home. Lemonade's virtual medical team can treat anything from anxiety and depression to birth control, delivery, and more. Lemonade's providing Childish listeners with their first month of anxiety or depression treatment for a discounted price of $5. And check this out, it's normally $95. Lemonade service is cancelable at any time. It allows you to have as many check-ins as you...
Seuss.
It allows you to have as many check-ins as you need through messaging or via phone call or video chat, whatever is most convenient for you. Lemonade Pharmacy will then deliver FDA-approved meds directly to your door in only 2 to 3 business days. Treatment's confidential, not tied to insurance or your local pharmacy. Take the first step towards feeling better. Visit lemonadehealth.com/childish to get your first month of anxiety or depression treatment for only $5. Again, that's lemonadehealth.com. And this is how it is spelled. LEMONAID health.com/childish. Also something that's almost like medicine for your lawn. So I am a big fan of lawns.
I have a beautiful lawn, but I've always felt it needed a little work.
Did you see that it was a little patchy in spots?
Well, you have a dog, so I counted to that, but I think it was more than that.
So, Sunday Lawn is a lawn care service. It's amazing. You sign up, you type in your address, and then they, just based on magic, show you an overview picture of your lawn and tell you, and then you take a quiz, a pretty quick lawn care quiz, and then they send you a box based on what they know about your lawn. However, you're not done yet. They also send you a bag to send them a soil sample to make sure that they are exactly right about your lawn. Here is what they sent me. In addition to the bag, so I've got to send back my soil, and a schedule to between March 5th and March 12th, I will be applying an iron booster to my lawn.
Oh, wow.
And it's super easy. It comes with a pouch, and you just you hook it up to your hose, and they recommend it should take about 12 minutes. You want to kind of quickly boost your lawn with it. Between May 11th and May 18th, I will be applying the Mighty Green pouch. And then also and I don't want to hold this up because I don't want anyone to see my address because you know, but anyway, my lawn summary: cool season grass, warm, wet climate, silty and balanced pH soil. Greg, isn't that what you said when you saw it? It looks silty and balanced.
I said, this is like the Delta.
Everything is sent straight to your door right when you need it. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/childish to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at getsunday.com/childish. Getsunday.com/childish.
You know, Allison, people say a lot of things about this podcast: funny, informative, loose, but mostly sexy.
Sensual and sexy.
It's sensual and sexy. And I think people pick up on that vibe. I think it gets people in a certain mood. And if you're there, let's take you to the next level, people. Adam and Eve is here, and they got some free stuff for you. What's better than free stuff? I don't know, especially stuff that's going to be sexy and is free. Select almost any one item for 50% off. And then Adam and Eve loads on the free stuff on top of that. Enter code CHILDISH at checkout and get 10 tantalizing free gifts. A sexy item for him. Oh, I don't know. Say like a edible underwear. A special gift for her. Say like edible underwear. And a third item, which can be a person. They'll drop them right off. It's like Uber. And you'll both enjoy. And also 6 spicy movies, because some people don't want that stuff on their hard drive. They don't want any trace of the filth. Maybe you're using a work computer, so
maybe you like to watch something while you eat some underwear.
It's dessert plus free shipping. That's Childish.
Wow.
CHILDISH. They wanted us to spell out the name of our podcast. Offer code CHILDISH at checkout at adamandeve.com. Okay, that's it for the ad reads.
They do have great stuff. Listen, Greg, I think it might be time to do some highs and lows. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I start this week.
Okay.
Well, big step for my daughter, Josephine Rose Fitzsimmons, who is going to be 18 soon. She's her senior year of high school is almost over. And now my son, who has been living in the guest house in the back because he was home from college, has now gone back to Chicago to pursue his studies in an apartment with 5 other guys and a bong. And now the guest house is open, and we have granted my daughter access to move back there.
Nice.
So it was kind of exciting. We're empty nesters in a way. We have the house to ourselves.
Is she just overwhelmed with joy?
Overwhelmed with joy. She got some sage. She burnt the sage to get the good vibes going in there. Put a bunch of candles, hung up some posters, got a little tablecloth going on the table, and she's so happy. She's back there alone, and it's weird. I worry about her, when what if somebody breaks in? But it's all locked up. She's fine. She's 12 feet away.
Is it accessible? Wouldn't they have to go? Is there a way they could get into there? We don't need to share the details of how to bust
We don't
into your
need to give
house.
the layout of my house.
Right.
But anyway, it's a big deal. It's kind of felt like a developmental step. Like she really earned it. She was acting kind of crazy for a year or two, and then she really reined it in this year. And she's working, every day, 5 days a week at the daycare, and then she's online class, and she's got a boyfriend. She sees him like one day a week. She's got it locked down, and we feel it's a high because I feel like she earned it, and I'm proud of her.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Remind me how old she is?
She'll be 18 in a few months.
When I was that age, I cannot think of anything that would have delighted me as much as having my own separate structure. Oh my God. Like that is the dream. That is the dream of any teenager.
Yeah. It's like Greg Brady when he got to move up to the attic. Remember?
That is what made me want that super bad.
Yeah.
I designed this whole like greenhouse. I wanted my parents. It's amazing that I actually thought they might consider this. I wanted them to build a greenhouse off of the house, and I was going to live in the greenhouse, and I had like a little spot that my bed would be, and there'd be a like or fish pond in there with wire grate over it, and then ducks. I mean, I had a whole, they didn't go for any of it. It wasn't up to code, but I thought it was pretty ingenious.
Yeah. I mean, you got creative with it.
I really did.
Yeah.
I also wanted them to build a sunroof on the rafters so that I could sun myself up there, which is very not, it's not me now, but I went through a tanning phase. They didn't go for that either. What?
Do you tan?
It's been a long time, but when I was a kid, I was pretty tan. So yes, I do have the ability to tan.
Okay.
You just burn and get cancer on your lip.
Burning cancer on my lip. That's it.
All
right, what's your high?
My high was I had Lorraine Newman on my podcast.
No, you did not.
I sure did.
Whoa.
And she is, I know the name of the show is Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. And people assume that the premise is like, oh, you're going to be best friends with everyone. That's really not what the show is. Although, I would love more best friends, but she is someone with whom I walked away and I'm like, I really do want to be real life. Do you know her? I want to be real life friends with her.
The only time I met her was I did one of those Comedy Central roasts for Chevy Chase. And none of Chevy's friends, because they're not friends, because he was kind of a douchebag. And like literally, you think of all the famous people he worked with over the years.
Right.
Nobody showed up except Lorraine Newman. And she got up there and she was so sweet and so generous and kind of saved him that night.
It's funny. I asked her so I told her that I had read there's these two SNL oral histories. Or books about SNL. And I kept encountering reviews of these books when I was doing my Lorraine Newman research. And all of them talked about how it sounds like Chevy Chase was a nightmare to work with. And so I asked her, and she said that she doesn't know how he was to the men, but really she had no problems working with him. Like he was always fine with her.
Yeah. Well,
which is interesting. I mean, that is borne out by your story, I guess.
Well, also you got to remember, he was only there for 1 year. Chevy Chase is so known for SNL. 1 year.
Right.
And then he was off. He got a bunch of movie deals. And, there's this documentary about John Belushi. I can't remember what channel it's on. It's really, really good because it was done with Judy Belushi, who's his wife. And it's all inside interviews. It's like his journals. It's very personal. And he and Chevy Chase really had it out that first year. And part of it was Belushi's insecurity because he was used to being the alpha. He was always the funniest guy, and whether it was SCTV or wherever. And all of a sudden, Chevy was on the front page of Rolling Stone, and he was the face of SNL that first year.
I didn't realize he was only there for 1 year.
Yeah.
So wait, were you one of the roasters at that roast?
Yeah. Guess who else? Todd Barry.
The person who almost got cast on Childish?
That's right. It
You know,
was
people
me
are
and Todd Barry and Mark Maron and Lisa Lampanelli, Al Franken, Paul Schaefer. It wasn't a killer lineup, which is why I was on it.
What was the experience like?
Terrible. Chevy didn't want to be there. He did not meet anybody before the show. I tried to shake his hand. He wouldn't shake my hand. He sat on stage with mirrored sunglasses on
Oh,
and
wow.
didn't turn and look at who was roasting him. He said he was only there to raise the money for his wife's charity.
Oh, wow.
And so the audience was bummed out because he was bummed out.
Mhm.
You can't have the roastee in a shithole and not have it affect the mood of the room. And I was
Right.
on, these roasts go on for like 3 hours, and I was like third to last.
Oh, God.
Brutal.
Well, that sounds less than delightful.
Hey, you live and learn. You move on.
What was your low?
My low was Woody Allen has always been like a hero to me, like his stand-up and his movies, his books, Without Feathers. I mean, so much respect for the guy. And now there's this documentary out called Woody Allen versus Mia Pharaoh, I think it's called, on HBO. And it portrays him as a child molester. And I don't know that he is. This is a very one-sided documentary. And I'm disturbed because I never want to be the person that's not believing the accused.
Mm-hmm.
The accused in this case is Dylan, who is his
The accuser, you mean? The victim.
Accuser, yeah.
Yeah.
But his other son, I think it's Moses, wrote an open letter that debunked a lot of this stuff. He went to trial. Everybody thought that the things that Dylan Pharaoh said, because she was 7 when it happened, and this was many years later. But at the time, they recorded some videos of her describing what had happened, and the jury and the judge all said it looked very coached. And she had a history of coaching the kids into saying things.
Right.
And she had a history of beating the kids. None of that comes out in the documentary. She even admits how she hit Soon Yi after she found out about the affair, that she slapped her across the face and was beating her. She was not the angel they portray in this documentary. So anyway, I'm upset because it opens the possibility to me that he really was a child molester. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to reconcile that with this great artist, but I'm not letting the fact that I respect his artistry, I'm trying not to let that affect whether or not I believe he did these horrible things. Like if he truly did, then I have to recalibrate.
Right. I read that 2018 letter from Moses that debunks stuff, and I did find it made me think. I mean, I saw people on Twitter being like, was he abused? Then I don't care what he has to say. But he was there the day that the abuse was alleged. It's just a complete other side of it that isn't represented at all in the documentary.
It's a very unfair documentary. It's a very one side. It's not journalism.
Right.
And that's
Although it hasn't.
Documentaries is like, are they journalism or are they a point of view? And that's something that you can argue either side of. Right.
I will say that I do find the whole thing uncomfortably exploitative. Yes. Like it is in the same way that I sometimes find I worry, like how exploitative is true crime really? Like the people who are watching this are tuning in to be entertained by something very upsetting.
Well, it's like Childish. You don't know which way it's going to go. You could have
right.
some guy sticking a blistered lip up to his camera lens. You could have a woman talking about,
picking scabs
off the back of her head.
Yeah.
No, it's you roll the dice when you hit play on Childish.
That's right.
What's your low? Not that we can get any lower, but what's your low, Allison?
Can I ask you one more question about that though?
Yeah.
What do you think about him hooking up with, Soon Yi was not his daughter, but one of Mia's children who he was a father figure to.
I think it's gross. I think it's disturbing. I think it's wrong. The fact that he stayed with her all of these years mitigates it to some degree. But I think she had according to Moses, she had an awful experience with Mia, who, was an abusive parent to her. And in a way, it was an escape. It was a way out of there. I don't think that they ever had much of a relationship when she was young, but it's gross and it's wrong. Yeah. And because of it, it opens people's, it opens up the possibility that he would do something gross with a young daughter.
I have heard people say the proof that he did this is look at what he did to the other daughter.
Yeah.
But
that's
if he's truly into 7-year-olds, I would suspect it wasn't an isolated. I'm like very afraid to weigh in because it's so charged.
No, but I mean, one of the things is you just said 7-year-olds. It was once.
That's what I'm saying. That goes in the category of, is like, so he has a pattern of being attracted to 16, 17, 18-year-olds, which is creepy, but like, that's not the same as, I'm not saying it's okay, but what I'm saying is how frequent is it that someone's like into 5, 6, 7-year-olds and also into high school. I don't know.
And also, as Moses points out, that pedophilia is a disease that you need to feed, that you don't do it once in your life at the age of, 60, whatever. And then that's it. So anyway, I hope that, I guess my only hope is that the family has some kind of resolution. And I don't know that this documentary helps anybody with having resolution, because it's a little bit of a hatchet job. But I don't know. I mean, look, we could talk about this all day, because then it brings up whether or not you can still appreciate the art from an artist who has done something that you find morally reprehensible.
There are a lot of people who can't anymore.
Yeah, that's becoming the more normal. And there's actresses now that are renouncing having worked with them and regret having worked with them. There's a lot of people that probably won't work with him in the future. Who knows if he can make another movie at this point?
I kind of doubt he can. I don't know.
He's made enough. The guy's made like 30 fucking movies.
Yeah. It's enough.
You know how many movies he made with Mia Pharaoh?
17 or something? 13?
Yeah. In 10 years.
Milo.
Yeah.
Owen fell off the bed on my watch.
Oh no.
And it was
your watch. Did the watch break?
My favorite watch.
Not the Rolex, not the Rolex.
That was there's some word for like a fake that's an expensive fake. That was a replica.
Yeah.
So Owen loves to get on the bed and then like stand up and flop, like play on the bed and do this thing where he stands up and then goes, watch this. And then he says it in his like toddlerese. So it's like, and then just flops over.
Yeah.
And he is surprised, or I thought like he's actually pretty good at knowing how to stay in the middle and how to not crash onto his brother. So Daniel was actually laying on the bed, like napping, but had given up because both boys were on the bed and they were both bouncing around on the bed and just so gleeful, having so much fun.
By the way, I'm sure he really appreciates that on your watch, you've got them bouncing on the bed he's trying to take a nap on. Nice watch.
Yeah. He seemed to be amused by it, so I kind of allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Apologies to everyone. So anyway, then I don't really know what happened. This is great parenting. Like Elliot bounced, and then Owen, who was standing up, he just got too close to the edge and he just kind of like got launched off the bed. He like bounced it's like he bounced off the bed and then bounced onto the ground, hit his butt first, then hit the back of his head. It was onto carpet and a watch. But I mean, it's like, I was so shaken up. Let's talk about how I feel about it.
Yeah, right. That's all that matters.
I was so shaken up by it. The nerve of him to do this to me.
I know, on your watch.
On my watch.
If it had, if it hadn't been your watch, then you could blame your husband.
Fall on my scrunchie if you must.
Yeah.
But not my watch, not mommy's watch. I mean, of course he was fine, but anytime they bonk their head, it's really scary. And
now, do you go to him like, do you make it worse, or do you go to him in a calm way? Because sometimes you see videos of kids and their parents act like they just bonk their head and the kid starts crying. I had parents. If you play it cool, they don't even cry.
No, he cried the second his head hit the ground.
Yeah.
So he was just wailing. And then Elliot, all heart, is like, stop that. Owen, stop. No, stop.
Yeah.
Be quiet. And, but later Elliot said to me, Mommy, I didn't realize he had hurt himself. So he's not totally a monster, but, so Elliot was wailing, and then, we both went to him. I don't think we made it worse. I comforted him, and of course I'm like looking at his pupils, and then we just kind of like kept an eye on him for a while to see if he was okay. And like I said, of course he was, but I just feel like, I was right there when it happened, like right there. I just couldn't catch him fast enough. So, and he's been wanting to get onto the bed again because he has so much fun, but I haven't let him because it's just too scary.
It really is so much better when you have little kids to have carpeting. It definitely comes in handy.
Right. And we have the room is carpeted, and then we have an area rug over it. So we were really happy about that.
Yeah.
But still, it's like the bed's a little bit high. I don't know. It was still scary, but he's fine.
Good. I'm glad. Tough kid who just got a little tougher.
That's right. So Greg, we're at an hour 5.
Let's do a quick voicemail.
Let's do a voicemail. Okay.
Call us. What's the number they call us at, Allison?
I'm so glad you asked. Can you
spell it out?
I can spell it out in numbers. 805-317-4243. Again, that is 805-317-4243. If you didn't have a chance to jot that down, don't you worry. If you just go to our website, childishpod.com, you can find all the ways to contact us. And we also like to get your emails, childishpod@gmail.com. Okay. All right.
I say she leaves the guy. He doesn't sound too good looking right now. I'd get the hell out of there, lady.
Those wrinkles are only going to get deeper. Teeth are only going to get more yellow.
They're going to get yellow. It's like an apple. When you take a bite out of it and then you leave it on the counter.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to want another bite of that apple pretty soon.
Did you know that if you leave the avocado pit in the guacamole or like in the avocado, that prevents it from turning brown?
I was the plate nacho guy. I was a cook at TGI Fridays, and I made the guacamole, and that was one of our keys. Never put it in metal. Don't stir it with metal. Don't store it in metal.
That I didn't
Leave the
know.
pit in, and you're fine.
I didn't know you were the guacamole king at TGI Fridays. So
Guacamole king.
so she's 28, he's 48. She's got many good years left of looking banging. How does she tell him she would like him to do something? And sometimes when questions come in, I'm like, oh, I know exactly how I would recommend handling that. And then some like this, I'm like, I'm glad Greg's here to answer because I don't exactly know. I think this is what I think. I think if you said something simple and to the point, like, I think you'd look so hot if you whitened your teeth. If a woman heard that, like if I heard that, I would want to crawl into a hole. But I feel like a guy can handle that better. I feel like
depends on the guy, but here's what guys like. Guys like gifts. You know, Father's Day is coming up in June. St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. And you give him a certificate for teeth whitening. And you say, the chicks at this teeth whitening place, I stopped by to get the certificate. They are 10s. I don't want you flirting. You be good when you go there.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And then you give them a certificate for some kind of facial. And you go, this girl, Olga, she's a little handsy. And that thick, sultry Russian accent. You're not going to understand half the shit she's saying. You got an appointment at 2:00. That's how you do it.
Wow, Greg. I love how manipulative you can be.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. How do you think I got my wife the breast implants? This dude. Oh my God.
Hans can be a little Hansy. Yeah. Should we do another one or do we have one more?
One more.
Let's do, but just one. Okay. Thank you. I think now I don't know, but my hunch is it's a phase and he is not going to follow him into adulthood. And once he's in school, he'll probably become more socialized. And all you can really do is try to direct a little bit and sort of model the right way. But I think the best course of action for her would be to just accept that this is who he is right now and people are not judging you as much. And I totally get the mortification, but you don't need to feel this mortified. Kids are silly.
Right. Hey, he could turn into a stand-up comedian someday. Why rein him in? Embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember what?
Go ahead. You remember.
We were at Mommy and Me, and Elliot was just starting to talk, and someone had their friend there. So there was like an outside person who didn't have kids who was there, and everyone was sitting in a circle, the parents and the kids, and they were singing. And Elliot kept turning around to me and saying things. Like I remember he picked up a toy banana. So they're all singing like Wheels on the Bus. Everyone's paying attention to Wheels on the Bus, and he's going like banana, 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 and then just constantly saying things and I was like, oh my God, I have a disruptive child and I feel so embarrassed. What's going on? Why can't he, doesn't he realize what it's supposed to be? Blah, blah, blah. And I remember talking to the teacher after that, and I'm like, is that normal? Is that age appropriate? And she's like, yes, totally. It's like, and she reassured me, but I look back on that and I think how funny that I was worried about his development at 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah, I think
they're so young.
That is young. I think you worry about it more as they get older, because you certainly don't want to raise an asshole too. But this sounds like this kid's young, and they'll figure it out. All right. Speaking of figuring it out, Allison Rosen.
Yes,
we fucking did it.
They doubted us once again.
Vegas was paying out 2-to-1 odds that we wouldn't do it this week. That's why
it's part of why we did it so hard.
Well, that's why I placed a bet. I took the action. I made a lot of money on this episode.
Yeah. I don't know when they're going to realize the folly of their ways, because it's like week in, week out.
They must be getting embarrassed. They got to be getting embarrassed.
Think, people. Do you really think we can't do it when all we do is do it?
We just do it.
Use your head. Use your head. Quit being a lemming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The conventional wisdom is they can't do it. Yeah. They won't keep doing it. But the evidence says we are doing it and we keep doing it.
It's quantifiable. Go to an Apple Podcasts and look at our history of doing it. We've missed one. How long have we been doing this show? 2 years?
More than that.
3 years?
I think. Something like between 2 and 3.
And we missed 1 week.
Because of all Christmas.
Because of Christmas.
And it wasn't even like we accidentally missed it.
We planned it.
We planned to miss it, which I don't even know if I call that missing it or if I call that taking a holiday.
Oh, and you should have seen them that week, Allison. You should have seen them.
They were
all
rabid.
Standing there going, we told
it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
You know how much we just keep doing it? That one day where it was like a French farce and I went to your office and you went to my studio and we were both like, what's going on? I just thought you were in the bathroom for a long time. We still did it that day. And it took us all day to do it.
Yeah. We always do it.
We always do it. Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be, I got some stand-up dates coming up in Raleigh. This is all in last week of March forward. I'm going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, then Philly, then San Francisco, which you can't get the tickets for yet. They're not online, but I will be there. Kansas City. And don't forget, I've been doing a bunch of cameos lately. Go on Cameo. Let me send you a little message. I like doing it. It's fun. It's up close and personal.
Nice. And please check out Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, Lorraine Newman. Before that, I had Phil Rosenthal, Bobby Moynihan, Allie Ward, all sorts of fun guests. Those are on my Monday shows. Those are the one-on-one interviews. Get it wherever you get podcasts. Also, I put the videos up on YouTube, youtube.com/Allison Rosen, also where you can see this. And then on Thursday, I have a group and it's just it's friends talking about their lives. That's super fun too. That comes out on Thursdays. But regarding Childish, follow Childish on social media at ChildishPod on Twitter and Instagram. And then follow me at Allison Rosen on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also on Cameo and I'm on Patreon, all sorts of fun stuff, patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Once again, thank you guys. Oh, and I should say, I gave Greg a break this week because it embarrasses him when I read the nice things that you say to us in our Apple Podcast reviews. But please keep those coming. It helps the show, helps people find the show. 5 stars, please.
Do it. All right, listen, I'm Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Allison Rosen.
And we are
Childish. All right. Bye, YouTube.